This podcast is part of the Red 5 Network. For more Red 5 Network podcasts, visit red5network.com.
Rogue One.
Rogue One? There is no Rogue One.
Well, there is now.
Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
Was Star Wars the one with the little wizard boy?
Welcome to Rogue One Radio, your source for sweet jams and conversations about a galaxy far, far away. And now, from the remnants of Jeddah City, it's Rogue One Radio.
Are you stuck up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder?
Hey, folks, you are checking us out. We're Rogue One Radio, and I am Steve, one of your nerf herders. And with me, of course, is DJ, the other nerf herder. How's it going, DJ? You're muted.
Yes, there we go.
All right, that was my fault. And we've got Camray in the chat first thing this evening. Welcome, Camray. We've also got Nicole, and RFB is with us.
Nice, man. The crowd is filling up. I love it.
Yeah, it's ready to go. So, what's been going on with you this week besides work? I hear you've been quite busy in that respect.
Yeah, work was running a little bit late. We actually had it was a reward day. And yeah, we had 365 days of accident-free at the plant. And for our reward, they gave us this Arctic cooler. It's a 8-can cooler. It's like, man, this thing is completely waterproof. It's top of the line. I checked it out, and it's like $70 if you were to buy this like online. And so I'm like, wow, and then I'm looking at the mountain of these because they gave out like 200 of them. And yeah, it was so that was pretty cool. And they gave us breakfast this morning, so that was cool. Other than that, planning and finishing up everything for our trip next week to Universal Studios. So yeah, lots of packing, lots of organization. Built a little shelf compartment in the car to make things a little more accessible and packable. So yeah, it's busy week. Going to be busy next week as well. But nice. I am ready to talk about The Force Awakens.
Awesome. That's right, folks. Tonight we are returning to our Star Wars Skywalker Saga retrospective series. And tonight we start the sequel trilogy with The Force Awakens. So we'll have that a little later in the show, of course. And then we've got our news coming up. We will have a top 5 list later on in the show as well. We are doing our top 5 Force abilities. So those of you in the chat, if you want to think of yours, jot them down, and then pipe in whenever we start our top 5 list. And what's been going on with me this week? Work's been kind of slow. Reading has not been slow. My stack hasn't gotten smaller. Mostly because I have removed stuff from the stack and then added more. So, I've been doing a lot of reading. Not really much of anything else. Lunar Girl is in the chat with us as well. Welcome, Lunar Girl. And like you said, we are filling up and doing good. I think we might have some guest co-hosts coming on later in the evening. Not sure when. I guess it'll just be kind of a surprise drop by, hopefully. So lately we have Rogue One Radio has been running a contest on Twitter.
Yes.
where we had our mascot. We have a new mascot. It is a rooster, and I don't hear him out there, but the
Not yet.
roosters are mascot. So we had a mascot naming contest, and whoever came up with the best one is getting they will be getting a sticker and a limited edition Rogue One Radio T-shirt. Limited edition, as in only one will be made. So it'll be very interesting to see our winner wearing that shirt. So as far as who the winner is, it was Cam Ray for his suggestion of Cockadoodle Pew Pew. However, there has been some controversy as to the origin of that suggestion. So we're not really sure if Cam actually was the individual who came up with that idea. So we did some investigation, and there was a video that was sent that has some very interesting evidence. So I'm going to go ahead and play that video with the evidence, and you folks be the judge.
Okay, let's see. Rooster, Rogue One, Rooster One, Rooster, two, Crow, the Crow Wars, the Crone War. No, let's see. Let's see. Foul. May the fouls be with you. May the fouls be with you.
I've got it. Cockadoodle pew pew.
That's so lame. I can't even think right now. What the? Bub, get out of here! Scat, scat.
So okay, so that evidence is pretty damning.
Shenanigans.
So we're going to do a little bit more investigation and decide who the actual winner is, and then that individual will get their prize package. So I don't know, man. I'm thinking it may have been Bub. It's very. Cam says that's a doctored video.
Well, Bub does matter.
But Bub does matter, yeah. Bub is and Bub is canon. You'll have to look up Bub on his Twitter. He does have a Twitter account. Okay. Again, Cam says Bub did not help. He can't even make it to the toilet in time. Well. And Jeff, yes, that was a multicolored. Salacious Crumb is the character's name. Welcome to Jeff to Rogue One Radio. By the way, he just jumped in the chat. Salacious Crumb is the character. His species is monkey lizard.
Kowakian monkey lizard.
Right. And apparently he is nothing but trouble, according to Cam, and his pet monkey lizard. But Bub says that is not his. He is not a pet. So again, we will further investigate this and determine where the prize goes. But either way, our new mascot's name is Cockadoodle Pew Pew. So,
and he is around here somewhere. I think he's on the other side of the house. Give him about 15 minutes and he'll be right outside this window over here. I actually changed my office around, so I'm now on the opposite end. Give me a little bit more natural light, and you can see that there's still all of my there. If any other podcasts are listening and want to send me some stickers for the Wall of Fame, I definitely have room. So plug. Anyway, but so yeah, he'll be back around here. The sun is now setting. Give it about 10-15 minutes, and he'll be back around.
So we did offer to let Cam and Bub come on the show to give their version of the events, and I don't think they were able to do it tonight. I think Bub had some pre-scheduled events that he was had scheduled already. So he couldn't make it on the show.
What we could do, and to steal a little bit from another franchise, is if we have Bub and Cam fight it out, similar to Kirk and Spock did, and we'll just have a death match. Winner gets the shirt, and then we'll even throw in an extra sticker so they can each get a sticker, and they could just have a Vulcan death match, or no, it was a Klingon death match, I think is what that was. And and winner gets the shirt.
Yeah. So Nicole says she would love to see Cam and Bub on Rogue One Radio.
As would I. Yes.
So Bub, if you're out there listening, we are hoping to have you on the show, and you too, Cam.
Well, I guess.
So. So yeah, we've got a full show ahead of you today. We've got our Force Awakens retrospective we'll be doing. We have our top 5 lists further on down the line. We've got some news. We've actually got a fairly somewhat heavy news segment today, a little bit more than usual, or have been lately rather. But before we jump into that, we're going to go ahead and play our first tune of the night. This one comes from the Washington, D.C. based punk band American Television. So they just released a new EP this past Friday, May 7th. And it is actually an EP of cover songs from bands that kind of inspired them along the way. And so what I'm going to be playing here is, by the way, the name of that EP is Adolescence. And the song off of that EP I'm going to be playing is actually a cover of a Bad Religion song. Ooh. And that song is American Jesus. So here it is. And make sure that I share the audio.
I don't need to be a global citizen because I'm blessed by nationality. I'm a member of a growing populace, reinforce of popularity. There are things that seem to pull us under, and there are things that drag us down. But there's a power and a vital presence that's lurking all around. We've got the American Jesus, see him on the interstate. We've got the American Jesus, he helped build the presidency state. I'm sorry for the Earth's population, cause so few live in the USA. At least the foreigners can copy your morality. They can visit but they cannot stay. Only precious few can garner this prosperity. It makes us fucking free In the fishes of the Stalin, millions of power of the man. Who the Jurassic clan, he's a mother and the conscience of the murderer. Future RGB, false sincerity. The formula that's written by the big computers and nuclear bombs. And the kids with no bombs. And I'm fearful that he's inside jail. Yeah! We've got the American Jesus. See him on the interstate. We've got the American Jesus. Exercising his authority. We've got the American Jesus. Fostering their shame on faith. We've got the American Jesus. Overwhelming millions every day. Yeah! One nation under God. 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 One nation under God.
All right, American Jesus by American Television.
Man, I actually I heard you said the name of it, and for whatever reason, my mind went to "Personal Jesus," which is the Depeche Mode song, and I was like,
Very
"Wait a
different
minute.
song.
Oh, yeah." So I'm like, "All right, there we go."
Yeah. So that was originally done by Bad Religion, who actually is one of my favorite bands, and this is one of my favorite songs by them. So to hear a band cover this was very interesting, and I did enjoy it. I do want to thank Rob from Wiretap Records for pushing that over to me. And so we've got more music coming on the way. But for now, we have some news to talk about.
But first, the news. So go ahead and kick that off whenever you're ready. All right. So this piece of news comes from bleedingcool.com.
All right.
And we have the news that Hannah John Kamen will star as Red Sonja. So, yeah. I was wondering who they were going to get to fill this role. But it's and I'm trying to remember, I believe Bryan Singer is still attached to this project.
Last I heard.
So and I really like his take that he does with these type of characters. If you look at like the original X-Men movies and how well detailed each individual character was, and he just seems to bring out the best in them. So yeah, Hannah John Kamen will be starring as Red Sonja.
That will be interesting, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. So I have some Marvel news for you. Disney Plus and Marvel Studios has announced that production has wrapped on Miss Marvel, the new one of the new Miss or Disney Plus Marvel shows. If you're not aware, Miss Marvel is about a character by the name of Kamala Khan, who is a Pakistani American teenager who becomes a superhero, and so that is that has wrapped production, and as far as the article says, it is still scheduled for a 2021 premiere. So I guess they're going to be rushing through this one to get this one done. So they've got a lot of editing to do, and then I'm assuming it's going to be very late 2021. But that news comes from also Bleeding Cool News.
Nice. Nice. Well, you want to talk about production news? Man, here is some production news for you. So, and I'm not sure if you've seen this. This article was on CBR.com, and hopefully you have already seen this. It was they did a announcement, like a Marvel announcement thing, and it gets interrupted by none other than Tom Hiddleston. Everyone's favorite god of mischief. And he interrupts to let everybody know that Loki is getting ready to premiere. And not only is it getting ready to premiere, which was slated for June 11th, but, you know, as many things have been, things happen to get pushed back, but not Loki. Loki gets pushed forward a couple of days to Wednesday, June 9th. So not exactly sure why it changed, but
Wednesday.
That just means that we're going to get some more Marvel a little bit sooner than expected. But yeah, that was great news. I love the way that they did the video for it. And the montage was great. And then it gets interrupted. You're like, oh man, what's going on? And you kind of get that tone where it's going to be pushed back again. And then you get the news. So that was pretty cool. Check it's on YouTube, so you can just check it out on there. Really funny to watch. But yeah, awesome.
So also in the comic book movie world, there's been an update on the Superman reboot that will be coming from JJ the team of JJ Abrams and Ta-Nehisi Coates, and I'm sorry if I butchered that name.
I believe you got it right.
So there's been a lot of speculation surrounding that film because the Superman in that film is going to be a black character. So the speculation was, is this going to be Val Zod, who was a character that came from the Earth 2 continuity that happened in the New 52 DC Comics. So basically an alternate Superman, or is this going to be a new Superman that we've never seen before? But the news has hit from DC Films and Warner Brothers that this character is actually going to be a black version of Kal-El.
Awesome.
So not somebody new, just a completely different version of the Superman that we've known for decades. So it will be very interesting to see what happens with this character. We've got sounds like it's a really good team put together for this, because Mr. Coates is an amazing writer. Abrams is an amazing director and creator, and with these guys, putting their two heads together, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they bring to the table.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I know a lot of people were talking about they should make a completely new character. I am absolutely on board with them taking a character that we already know and putting this twist on it. Mm-hmm. It's going to provide something that we know as far as the tale and the character, and still be able to push that boundary a little bit. I'm very excited for this one. So can't wait.
Looking forward to it.
So
all right, what's next?
Man, this one, I I don't know. This is going to be my opinion, folks. Not everybody else will share the same opinion. But from the Who Really Cares, file, we have an announcement that Marvel Studios redo of Blade, which was supposed to start filming this September, has now been pushed back. We talked just a minute ago about how things have been pushed back, and this one is suffering the same fate. It will be pushed back to July of 2022. Although this was one of the first announcements that was made by Kevin Feige, this one is getting pushed back a little bit more. I would expect it to get pushed back even further. They are saying that they're not in a hurry for this movie, and I can understand why. But they want more time working on the script. It's being written by Stacey O.C. Kofer, who did a little bit of The Watchmen, and it's supposed to be starring Mahershala Ali. So we'll see how this goes. Again, I liked the first Blade, but then it really, to me, went downhill after 2 and 3. And yeah, I was in no rush for them to try to reboot this one. But hey, we're going to get it just a little bit later than normal. That's fine. What else you got?
Popular actor. He's pretty active in the current Marvel comic books, so they're trying to cash in on that, which is fine. Now this one is, to some, this might also fall under the Who Cares file, but I am one that does. If you haven't already seen it, the trailer for the sequel to Venom has dropped. And this is for Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Now, there's a lot of, back and forth on this one. I must be one of the few people in the world that liked that movie. But I liked the Venom movie. I liked Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock. They definitely took some liberties with the character in a lot of ways. But that being said, I am actually looking forward to seeing the Carnage movie. I watched the trailer a couple times, and it was pretty cool. I was surprised that we actually got to see Carnage himself in the trailer, and it was done pretty. I mean, it was pretty good. They did a really good job on him. Based on the trailer. So that movie is going to be hitting theaters. September 24th. I think it was originally slated for June.
Yeah, late May, early June, I think.
But it got pushed back to September. But still, I'm actually looking forward to that movie. So we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, I'm just hoping it's better than the first one. The first one was okay.
Okay.
It was all right. I've seen a lot worse. I really enjoyed the comic character. They did take a lot of liberties with it, and I think that's probably what soured me just a little bit was the amount and which liberties they did take. So
I can understand that. If you can take, and I've had a hard time doing this myself, taking kind of the purist mentality out of these things and understanding that this is their take on the character. Once you get past that, it's much better. But yeah, I can definitely understand where you're coming from on that one. But in any case, we do have some Star Wars news as well.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So, and this is courtesy of bleedingcool.com. They seem to be popular in our news feed this week. But the Bad Batch journey has begun. and it is definitely getting a Lego treatment. Bad Batch is well on its way. It's a fantastic series so far, and it looks like that we're going to have some attack shuttles. It looks like we'll have some figures and a few other things to go with, along with the Bad Batch crew. And you know how well Lego does. Everyone seems to collect and assemble. Sean from Extra Techie just had a video of him putting together a few of the Lego pieces.
Nice.
Looking forward. I'm sure he'll grab the Bad Batch set, and I'll look forward to him putting those together too.
Cool. Yeah, that'll be fun. So, hold on. Sorry about that.
Bless you.
Thank you. So, my Star Wars news that I found is we are getting a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, the video game that came out a couple of years ago. And that sequel is scheduled to arrive in 2023. It's being worked on by Respawn Entertainment in correlation with Electronic Arts. So if you haven't played that game, it revolves around Cal Kestis, who is a survivor of Order 66, and he is forced back into action when he is discovered by some Inquisitors. I thought that game was great, and seeing a sequel to that is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so my last bit of news is also Star Wars news.
Oh yeah,
and it is a shock, to say the least. Disney is in full Emmy campaign mode. They are pushing for their shows and series to get nominated for all these awards. In fact, they even put out a poster, and at the very top it says, "For your consideration," and it breaks it down by category: lead actor, supporting actress, guest actor, and then at the bottom it has Mandalorian, and it's got Din Djarin on the cover, and he's got Grogu in a little pouch, and he's carrying him along.
Yeah.
So, of course, lead actor Pedro Pascal, supporting actor Tamura Morrison and Giancarlo Esposito, which is something that is to be expected. Now, here comes the unexpected part.
But no Grogu. Grogu was not nominated. What's up with that?
Well, because Grogu is Star Wars, and that's just the way that it works now.
Fair enough.
But the surprise here is supporting actress. They listed Gina Carano as their nominee for supporting actress in this series, despite rather publicly not rehiring her, because I know everyone says she was fired. Well, her contract had expired, and they just chose not to renew it. Which kind of left that character in flux. But so that was pretty interesting that they put her in there. So I guess they're and very well deserved. She was a great actress in the show. And then of course guest actor. They had Bill Burr, I thought, did a great job there. Rosario Dawson did a great job as Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill was listed, which if he that'd be amazing if he would get that.
What
Katie
about
Sackhoff?
Yeah, there you go.
Was on there. Carl Weathers, Ming-Na Wen, as well is listed. So, but yeah. So go Gina. Glad that they're pushing for her to get that award. I am hoping that means that there might be a reconciliation here in the near future, because I would definitely love to see her reprise that character on the show.
Yeah, it'll be kind of a weird show without her, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what becomes of these Emmys. So, yeah,
yes.
go Mandalorian. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for news. We've got our Force Awakens retrospective coming. Let's go ahead and break here, and we'll play another tune here. This one comes from a solo artist by the name of Suzi Moon. She is from Los Angeles, and she just put out a single last month in April, and that's what we're going to be playing. And this song is called Special Place in Hell. And let's see if I can get it to pull up. There we go.
You looked me in the eye, told me this was really blowing your mind. It's not the life you're used to. I let you come inside, steal a little piece of my design. Did you calculate the kiss too? Well, you're so cool. Now it's time to pay your dues. There is a special place in hell for you, for you, for you. There is a special place in hell for you, for you, for you. There is a special place in hell for you, for you, for you. There is a special place in hell for you. Everybody's wrong except for you. Right, right. Parasitic creatures of the night. They'll call your name. Don't you let them take your life. Cross your heart and hope to die. Let it shine. 'Cause there's no going back this time. There is a special place in hell for you, for you, for you. There is a special place in hell for you, for you, for you. There is a special place in hell for you, for you, for you. There is a special place in hell for you, for you, for you. Special place in hell for you, for you, for you. There is a special place in hell for you, for you, for you. There is a special place in hell for you, for you, for you. There is a special place in hell for you, for you, for you. For you, for you, for you. And it's with me.
All right, Suzi Moon with Special Place in Hell. That actually, it was released as a single, but it also comes off of her debut EP, Call the Shots. And that was sent over by Pirate Press Records. So thanks, Pirate Press, for that one. Interesting little tune. I haven't gotten the entire EP, but I'll definitely give that a listen and see what that sounds like. As soon as I see what the rest of that album sounds like.
So yeah, I mentioned in the chat. I said, "Is she married to Rob Zombie?" And Rob Zombie's wife is Sherry Moon.
Okay.
And so when I saw, I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, so this is Suzi Moon. Okay, maybe they're first cousins or something."
Maybe. You never know. You never know. All right, so folks, if you're just tuning in, this is Rogue One Radio. This is episode 45. I actually forgot to mention that earlier in the show. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Rogue1 Radio. And if you are watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and hit that like button for us. Tonight, we are going to be talking about The Force Awakens. We are about 2/3 of the way into our Skywalker Saga retrospective series. And tonight is the first night that we take on the sequel trilogy. And tonight is The Force Awakens.
All right. Yeah. So as we've been doing for this whole series, we're going to start with the opening crawl. And it says, Luke Skywalker has vanished. In his absence, the sinister First Order has risen from the ashes of the Empire and will not rest until Skywalker, the last Jedi, has been destroyed. With the support of the Republic, General Leia Organa leads a brave resistance. She is desperate to find her brother Luke and gain his help in restoring peace and justice to the galaxy. Leia has sent her most daring pilot on a secret mission to Jakku, where an old ally has discovered a clue to Luke's whereabouts. Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. So, The Force Awakens, episode number 7.
Yes.
So, just first impressions. When we first heard that the movie was coming out, it was kind of a sigh of relief. We finally get a new Star Wars movie, and then one of the first things I heard was that J.J. Abrams was going to be helming, taking over directorial duties on this one. So that got me a little bit more excited. J.J. Abrams doing Star Wars, that could be very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I was really excited. I liked the way that he's done other franchises as far as his turn in the seat to give it a fresh look. But as always, it really comes down to the source material.
That's true. Yeah. So when we first saw the movie, I saw it the midnight showing, and I actually saw it by myself. I had not gone anywhere with anybody to go see it. I did, the next night I actually did take both of my kids to go see it, but Joey and Jayla. But yeah, that first night was just me. I had somehow scored a ticket to it because the tickets actually here, strangely, were sold out. Well, not so strangely, but just never gotten to a point where I could not buy a ticket to a movie. And then a friend of mine had an extra one, and he actually couldn't go for some reason, so I got the ticket from him and got to go see it. So I was pretty happy about that. Overall, though, I don't I can't really say whether or not it was my favorite of the sequel trilogy. And if memory serves me correctly, when I was putting together my ranking the films list, actually, let me go ahead and pull it up while I'm looking at that. It is actually the third of the sequel trilogy. It is not my favorite of the sequel trilogy. Not to say that I thought it was a bad movie. I did. There were aspects of it that I did like. It's kind of hard for a Star Wars movie, honestly, to be bad. But in the grand scheme of the entire Skywalker Saga that we have been doing our retrospective on, it is actually number, let's see, out of 10, it is number, wait a minute, there should only be 9.
Should only be 9.
Oh, I've got, okay, I see what we're doing here. I was counting wrong. Yeah, out of 9, it is actually number 7. But I don't know. I liked it. What do you think?
Well, again, it was one that went to a midnight release for, and went with my wife to go see it. And then I believe later that week we took the kids to go see it as well. Now, where I was working at the time at GameStop, there was a movie theater that was, right down the street there, and the manager always came in and would give out free passes to our staff, and so I got to go see it multiple times. I really enjoyed it. I liked that we were getting something new, that we were going to get some new characters, a new breath of life into the series. So yeah, it's actually up there. It's ranked pretty high on mine. I'm not going to pull up the file to look because it changes nearly every week. So, but I did enjoy the film. Out of the 3 of them, it might be my favorite one out of the 3.
Okay.
Like I said, it varies. But yeah, it was really cool. I really enjoyed the new characters, and we'll get into that here in a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, I mean, it wasn't bad. I don't think it was necessarily my favorite. But let's see, what else we got? We've got, okay, we're going to be talking about characters next. Characters from the film. Well, it'd be kind of remiss if we didn't start off with Kylo Ren. I gotta say, I was actually a bit surprised when we found out who that was. I don't know if anybody else was, but yeah, I found it a little surprising.
Yeah, I don't guess I necessarily was surprised by it. I knew the general direction that at least everyone thought that they were going to go. Was more surprised with the name choice that they did rather than the character itself.
Yeah.
I knew that they were going to start borrowing heavily from the extended universe. Just didn't know how far they're going to go and which characters they're going to try to bring over. But it seemed like that they tied 2 or 3 together to make one cohesive character, rather than having, say, twins or something like that. But yeah, very, very interesting character. I loved the aesthetic of him. The mask was a really cool touch, and for the first time that you see a lightsaber with a crossbar, that was pretty cool.
That was a very cool take on a lightsaber, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have Chuck in the chat, so welcome Chuck.
Chat. Yep, this is his second time in the chat with us, so welcome. Let's see who else. Well, obviously, we got Rey, of course, first appearance of Rey. Probably my favorite character in the movie. I liked her. I liked the mystery surrounding her. And then we will talk more about said mystery when we get to our Rise of Skywalker retrospective. Right. But yeah, I did like what they were doing with her in this one, and I like how they brought her in. And I just liked. I thought Daisy Ridley did an amazing job. And yeah, like I said, I think she was probably my favorite character. Well, let's say favorite new character from the movie.
Yeah, I definitely liked the portrayal. I loved that the opening shot with her, and not even knowing who it was, but the way that it pulls back and you realize what she's in, and that she's pulling the parts out of the destroyer, and just the grand scale of things. At first, when it pulls back, I thought they would have been on Tatooine, and didn't even really know what was going on there. But yeah, that was really cool to see that scope. But even before then, we also got introduced to Poe Dameron.
Poe Dameron, yeah.
Which in the opening crawl was attributed as the ace pilot that Leia was sending out. So I really liked that character as well. He kind of reminded me of if you could mix Han Solo and Lando Calrissian together.
Yeah, I can see that.
He had that quick wit and banter, and he was really good at flying, and had that swagger of like a Han Solo type. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So Jeff in the chat said he was so upset with the rewrite of the events after Jedi. It took years for me to give The Force Awakens a fair shake. So Jeff, I'm wondering what your take on the movie is now that you've had those years to give it the fair shake. Now, one of the lesser known new characters that I would have liked to have gotten more story about, and eventually maybe we will, and we've gotten a little bit about the character somewhat, and that's Lor Santeca, played by what's the guy's name? Max von Sydow.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was a very interesting character. We did not get very much of him at all. But that is definitely a character I would have liked to have learned more about. And we got a little bit of his ancestry with the Light of the Jedi and from the High Republic series. So Jeff has responded. It's a lot better than my initial impression. Best of the final trilogy, to be sure. Okay, well, sounds like I'm in the minority here. It's actually like not my favorite, but yeah, that's all right. Everybody has their favorites, and
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, Chuck mentioned that he would have liked to have seen more screen time of Poe.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, in that first one, we didn't get, we spent, 3/4 of the movie thinking he was dead.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of throw him in there at the end. But
oh, you want to talk about throwing in, man? As with Star Wars. So the original trilogy, we had Han, Luke, and Leia.
Yep.
In the prequel trilogy, we had Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme.
Yeah.
And in this one, we had Poe and we had Rey. Then we also had the King, as they call him. Where is he? Oh.
Okay.
Finn. FN.
Yeah.
So, and it for a character that they set up beautifully with the conflict in that first opening battle, and you finally see an actual stormtrooper take off his helmet, and you're like, what is this? What, wow. Dissension among the ranks, and it just made it seem so cool and had such potential with this character. And it just really fell flat. Not only in this movie, but in the movies to follow as well.
Yeah, we'll be getting into that when we start talking about dislikes of the film.
Yeah. But
now some of the go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying Disney. Star Wars normally follows patterns. They've always followed patterns from the feel, the character setup, and that's one of the things that a lot of people commented on about The Force Awakens, is that it felt a whole lot like A New Hope, and understandable. But you also have to remember that you have the same idea based off of Japanese films that Lucas did for blocking and for scene setup.
Yeah.
And so there was an air of familiarity with the people that had seen Hidden Fortress and movies like that it borrowed heavily from. And the patterns continued in the prequel trilogy, and why people thought that they were going to get something, a complete 180 from what has already been shown, kind of baffled me. But this is part of it. We have the First Order shows up. We get a good look at that, although it's really unclear who's in charge. Then you have your trio of young people that are coming in, and they're the ones that are going to save the day with the guidance of some of the older people. Lots of characters, lots of depth in there.
And then we get into some of the lamer characters in the movie. One such character is General Hux.
I totally dug the character in The Force Awakens.
Really?
Loved the setup. That speech that he gave on Starkiller Base was amazing. And I totally bought into it. And then they putzed it away after that.
Yeah, I can see that. I just didn't like him as a character in general.
Well, I mean, with my favorite character being Palpatine, you kind of see where, where my allegiances lie.
Yeah.
So, I really liked it. Was he a little sniveling? Yeah. But, he was passionate about what he was doing.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Well, another thing is when you read the Aftermath trilogy, you see who his father was and kind of his origin, if you will.
Right.
And then you read more about how he was treated as a child, and you understand how he got to be the sniveling, jackass that he is. But another character who was now, okay, when the movie first came out and we first saw it, he didn't seem that lame. But looking back after having watched the entire trilogy and then going back and watching this movie, he seems more lame than he originally did when we first saw the movie. And that to me is Snoke. It was cool, this mysterious character. Where is he from? He's not a Sith. He's not, how did he get a hold of Ren or Ben, and all this. And then as you get further in the series, he just becomes more lame.
I would have loved for them to give Snoke the original trilogy treatment.
Yeah.
You hear about him maybe in the first one.
Right.
In the second one, you get a brief glimpse of him. And then in the third one, there's just this jaw-dropping, aura about this character.
Right. Yeah, we didn't get that with him.
No. It was kind of, it almost force-fed on us, about this. We didn't need an explanation for Darth Vader.
No.
We just knew he was a badass, and
right.
And he's the main guy. And then in Empire, you're like, oh well, he's not the guy that's really pulling the strings. There's this other dude. Who's that guy?
Yeah.
And then you finally see him in in Jedi, and you're like, oh wow, all right, well.
Yeah.
Heck, how are they gonna get past this? And I think if we would have gotten that type of treatment rather than the way that we got, it would have been set up for a great character. But they kind of wussed out on us, and he looked powerful in there, and then he just kind of fizzled away.
No, that's what I said. He looked like a pretty interesting character, but. They didn't do him justice. I feel like we're getting into our likes and dislikes now.
Yeah, the line's kind of blurred, but
yeah. So, I think that's it as far as new characters.
I have one more.
Do
one
you?
More.
Okay, I think I know who you're going to mention.
Maz.
Oh, okay. That's not who I thought you were going to mention, but all right. Yeah, Maz is a very interesting character.
Oh, I thought of another one too.
BB-8. That's right.
BB-8. Yeah. And that's I was going to actually bring that up in likes and dislikes, but yeah, the Maz character, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting. It was kind of like an homage to Obi-Wan, a guiding force. She's the one that sets Rey on the path. She has a lot of insight on Finn, and she already knows Han. I love the banter between the two of them. Where's my boyfriend? I just thought that was pretty cool to see. A very interesting character.
Yeah, definitely. So let's see, what do we have next on our retrospective?
Basically, this also falls into the character category, but not only do we have the new characters, we also see a couple of the old characters come back as well. So we do see Leia make her appearance. We see in this and possibly one of the greatest scenes that they showed in the trailer that made absolutely everybody go wild was when Han and Chewie come out, and Chewie, we're home, and it's like the goosebumps, right? Yeah.
That was definitely one of the louder moments in the theater, and possibly even tying that, but also related is the scene earlier in the movie. Oh, that's junk. Now, I guess we'll take the junk. But the scene where they're on Jakku and the Falcon shows up. Yeah, the theater got pretty loud at that point as well.
Yeah. Then there's there's so much reference to the other movies that are in here. Love seeing Leia again. When she shows up and they play a little bit of Leia's theme, which is my all-time favorite of all Star Wars music. So that was pretty cool to see. But yeah, again in the crawl it says Luke Skywalker is missing, so didn't expect to see him in the in the film. So that was but we did get to see Chewie, we did get to see Han, Leia, C-3PO, R2, but then we're getting into more of our likes and dislikes. So
yeah.
What else you want to talk about?
I think as far as characters goes, that's about it.
So I had a thought, and I'd like to get your input on it.
Okay.
And do you think that the opening line of the film took a shot at Lucas? Do you remember the opening line of the film?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Lor Santeca says to Poe, "This will begin to make things right."
Oh.
As he hands over the little... And as much dissension as the sequel trilogy had, that people were like, "Oh, that's not," they just didn't like one. They didn't like the Phantom Menace, and I have my own opinions on Attack of the Clones. It's not one of my highest rated. It's good. It's a good movie, but it's not my highest rated Star Wars movie. And then Revenge of the Sith, we see a little bit, it's a little bit better, but even people complained about that one a little, saying,
Yeah, they did. But actually, as far as Revenge of the Sith goes, it is probably ranked higher. Let me look at my list again since we're talking about that. It's actually ranked higher than any of the sequel trilogy films.
Yeah. I enjoyed the prequel trilogy, but I know there was a lot of talk on, that opening line being a diss towards Lucas and after he sold the company to Disney, and and I guess I could kind of see where they could get that from, but I really think it was taken out of context.
That's interesting because I've actually never heard that before and never really thought about it. I just thought it was, he was talking about finding Luke and putting things right, as in getting rid of the First Order. I don't know. That's interesting. That's a very interesting theory. Let's go likes and dislikes.
Sure. All right.
So dislikes, you kind of already brought up. And this could be said really for the whole sequel trilogy. I think they dropped the ball on Finn. He was a character that, like you said, had a lot of potential, and just that character fell flat, whether it was writing or whether it was the director's fault, or if it was just the performance. I mean, I don't know. You can't really tell if the performance would have been better had the writing been better. It's just kind of all around seems like that character was a lost bit of potential. In the same way, like we mentioned when we were talking about the prequel trilogy, if you remember the conversation, Nicole might, the conversation surrounding Count Dooku, a lot of wasted potential there.
Yeah. I agree, and I would agree with you. I think the performance was fine given what he had to work with. I think that they let him in on a few secrets about the character that they never really flushed out. I thought he handled himself very well, especially in that ending scene with when they're on Starkiller Base and he gets the lightsaber.
Yeah.
Very well done. I loved the conflict that he showed when he's in the first battle, and he's unsure of what to do. He feels like it's not right. And it shows a humanistic side to the stormtrooper. He definitely has the ability and the training, but it just, maybe the hand holding thing was a little too much.
There were two spots specifically that screamed that this character had potential, at least for me. And one you've already mentioned was the opening scene with him, the stormtrooper that takes his helmet off, and you see this human side of him, and there was huge potential there. Another bit was toward the end, actually on Starkiller Base, the banter he has back and forth with Han. I thought that was hilarious. I was a garbage man. What?
Yeah.
And we'll just use the Force. That's not how the Force works. So that scene showed that character had a comedic side as well.
Okay, big deal.
What's that?
When Han says, "Okay, I'm a big deal with the Resistance."
Yeah. But otherwise, the character just was not given his due, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree.
And another, I guess you could say, dislike. And this kind of transcends the entire series, the sequel trilogy, but just kind of the fact that they wrote Kylo Ren as a whiny character.
Yeah.
Just somebody that throws temper tantrums. It just kind of it rubbed me the wrong way.
I mean, and some of it, I can kind of understand. I didn't mind necessarily all of it. I liked the display of anger.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. I just the situation surrounding it just made it seem like he was throwing a fit. Now, if it just happened, and he was angry and doing it, but no, it's like he was throwing a little fit and and had to destroy something instead of just rage, which I think is what it was supposed to be.
Yeah. So yeah, rage is a good thing. You want that in a dark side character. You don't want the character acting like a 4-year-old. So yeah, I just thought that one was kind of it just rubbed me the wrong way. This is kind of a dislike, but also I kind of understand where they went. But there was a lot. It seemed a lot of missing story pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Just in general, there was a lot of, okay, how'd they get from B to C? I don't understand.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. Whether it's, the lightsaber is calling to Rey.
Yeah.
And, the lightsaber was on Cloud City.
Yeah.
But yet it's in this box over here.
Yeah.
And all we get, it's a story for another time.
Yeah.
I want to know. I mean, that's either do that or have her find it. Don't have someone find it and leave it sitting around for her to discover later. Have her find it, whether or not it's in a wreckage on Jakku. That she opens up a compartment and sees a whole bunch of stuff that's in there, and she happens to find the lightsaber, and it connects to her that way. Makes a whole lot more sense than just to have it sitting in a box in a castle somewhere, hoping that someday somebody's going to find this thing. It just it really it really fell flat. I would have liked a little more explanation of the First Order.
Yeah.
It's like
we get that a little bit in the Aftermath trilogy,
right,
somewhat. But in the movie itself, they kind of talk about it a little bit. But that brings up another thing. That you mentioned that this thing is found in a box in a castle. This castle has apparently stood for thousands of years, and Han knows this character Maz Kanata so well. It seems like something they threw in there, like if he was that close to her, and if this thing had been around so long, how come we're just now hearing about it?
Right. Well, not only that, if she knows Han so well, she gets a lightsaber, but she holds on to it and doesn't tell him.
Yeah.
Hey, I found this lightsaber. It probably belongs to a Jedi. Don't you know one? Here you go.
Yeah, and if she knows Han Solo so well, then she has to know that he's friends with Luke. I think this might be Luke's. No, I'm going to put it in this box here so somebody can find it one day. I'm like, what? The First Order, they just kind of it's there. It's just like it's been there, almost like the Empire. It almost felt like the way the movie was written. It's like the Empire went away, and then automatically the First Order springs up. It just seems that way without really explaining where these guys came from.
Right. So I was curious on the dates for Aftermath and versus The Force Awakens. So The Force Awakens was released December 18th, 2015. The first Aftermath book was released September 4th, 2015. So just a couple of months before, but they didn't really get to the Battle of Jakku until the third book.
Mm-hmm.
So we really had no idea, and the third book wasn't. Let's see. Empire's End was in. Oh man, let's see if I can find it real fast.
I think it was
2016.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
No. Empire's End was 2017.
Oh, was it? It says 2016 on here, but
okay, I'm getting two different. I see where it says 2016 on Google Books.
Release date on Wikipedia is February 21st, 2017.
Yeah, but Google Books says 2016. So in any case.
So yeah, we didn't really get the full story of we got a little bit of hey, here's kind of what's going on. The Empire's retreated, and they're and they're trying to reform, but we don't get what actually happened till 2 years after Force Awakens is released. So yeah, there is a whole lot of gap in there that that we don't really know about. So, but yeah, is any other dislikes?
None that really jump out at me. How about you? What are your main dislikes?
Well, we talked about most of them. I think I'm only going to bring up one more. And that is the absolute and utter misuse of R2-D2. We had we had a new one. We had BB-8 show up. We had 3PO a little bit. But to pan over and have R2-D2 covered with a tarp, completely misused the entire film. It's for a lot of people's favorite character, non-human character anyway.
Right.
To be used in that way just was, it's like, because my thought was, all right, so he's with Luke. All right, we're not getting R2 because he's with Luke. No, he's not.
See, and that, you bring that up, and that bothers me quite a bit, because him and Luke are kind of inseparable. They have been together, since A New Hope. They were always together. No matter where Luke went, there was R2, with very little deviance from that. And then Luke disappears and doesn't take R2 with him. There's a problem there. There's a problem there.
Yeah. But that's for the most part, I really liked the movie. I thought Phasma was an interesting part of it. Again, another character that I think was completely misused. But I liked the idea that and that's mainly on the other movies of the trilogy rather than the first one. We got set up. The plate was served. They did all the they did all the cooking,
and then
and so
that's another character that would have been really cool to learn more about. And I actually haven't read that book yet, the Phasma book, but I will get around to it eventually.
Right.
But really, as far as movies go, we got she was really a filler character that didn't
Yeah.
fill much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, talking about so much that I didn't like. What did I like? I mean, I liked that they brought in new characters. I liked that they brought these folks in, and we're getting perspective of the galaxy from new faces. And I liked that we got to see Han and Chewie guiding said characters up to a point. I liked, really, I can put it in one word somewhat. I think the best thing about this movie was its potential.
Yeah.
It really had a lot of potential, and I just, it was almost like, when I go back and watch it now, it's just kind of like what happened.
Mm-hmm.
There was so much this movie had going for it, and it just kind of, okay.
Right.
A lot of setup for the rest of the series. And that is really the best thing about it, was its potential.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you. It had so much that we were craving, and wasn't sure if we were ever going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Us as diehard fans knew that Lucas had originally written 9 parts, and we had gotten the middle 3, and then came back and got the original 3, and what was ever going to happen with the third. And we still haven't gotten that, by the way, because the material that they used was not Lucas's material.
Right.
Would have been interesting to see what he would have had in store for us as fans. Although there are, I guess, some different treatments and whatnot that are going around online, but nothing's ever been confirmed by Lucas as, yep, that's the direction I was going to go, at least as far as I know.
Yeah.
But yes, so much potential for not only a trilogy, but for the future of Star Wars. And they just kind of,
it just kind of fell flat.
Poop emoji.
Yeah.
It's still Star Wars, and I still love it.
It is, yes. That's okay. That's the second thing that I like about it. It's Star Wars. Kind of. I mean, really, like I said at the beginning, it's kind of hard for there to be a bad Star Wars movie. One that is so bad that you just never want to watch it. There are none like that. So, well, that is it for our Force Awakens retrospective. We do have our top 5 list coming up. We're going to talk about our top 5 favorite Force abilities. And if there's still some of you in the chat that were here earlier, remember I told you to jot some down, and we can talk about your favorites as well if you want to chime in with those when we get this thing started. Before we jump into the list, we have our last song of the night. This is from another one of my favorite bands, and I generally have not thought about playing any of their music. Number one, because I could never get a hold of them to get their permission. But number two, it's the first time since I've had the show that they've released something new. And they actually responded to me. So, after this new single came out, I messaged them yet again, thinking, they're not going to get back in touch with me. But they did almost immediately, too, which was very interesting. So this band is from Long Island, New York. The name of the band is Iron Chic or Cheek, however, depending on who you are, how they pronounce that. I just call it Iron Chic. They released a single just a few days ago, Friday, May 7th. And that's what we're playing. And the name of the song is Catgut. So here is Iron Chic with Catgut.
I'm just breathing in the smoke that's so much sweeter than the air. I'll never leave, I wouldn't dare. Found a home in these old bones and I'm not going anywhere. It's okay, but I miss my mom. And there's no pain when scared to press that blade against my throat and drop my blood out everywhere. But what would that mean? It sure isn't fair to put my hopes into the hands of someone who's drowning in despair. It's a game, but I miss my heart. I couldn't dream, I hadn't for years. No more room inside my head, so they came pouring out like tears. I wrote them all down, I sang them all out, just shouting at my fears till none were left to shout about. Taking my shot with 1,000 guards there, I let it fly into the wind and I had nothing but the air. It's a game, but I miss my heart. And there's no pain when it all goes dark. But then I see you there and that just melts my heart. Don't let me fall.
All right, Iron Chic with Cat Gut.
I liked it.
Yeah, one of my favorite bands. They haven't released an album since 2017. 2017, they released an album called "You Can't Stay Here." Ton of Futurama references in it, and it's a great album. But yeah, the only thing that they've released since then is a split with another band called Toys That Kill. So this single just got released, and I was very happy to hear new music from them. Like I was saying in the chat there, I really like the way they use the double guitars, and those two guys really work well off of each other. I got to see them. They actually came through Oklahoma City about a year and a half ago-ish, somewhere around there. Actually, I don't remember, but it was somewhat. It was before COVID. It was shortly before COVID, but yeah, good band. So, top 5 Force abilities. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna let you start off with your number 5 because I just realized I haven't numbered mine yet.
Uh-oh.
I just listed them. Let me look at mine and go ahead and give me your fifth, your number 5.
Sure. All right. So this one is separate, although it is kind of part of another one. I started just to do individual abilities, and I'm like, well, let me just kind of group them into something else. But the Force Jump was something that I thought was pretty fantastic. We see it in a number of the movies. Whether or not it's Anakin jumping up and down on the elevator as it goes around, whether it's saving Luke's neck as he escapes the carbonite in Empire Strikes Back. It's used quite often. And one that I wouldn't mind having at some point would be the Force Jump.
Yeah, I could see that. Cool. So I forgot to say this when we got back, but if any of you in the chat have any thoughts on what your favorite Force abilities are, go ahead and pop them in there. My number 5 is moving rocks.
Okay.
That's right. That's more a joke to Rey in the second part of the
right
sequel trilogy, and she says, one of the forces about moving rocks. So moving rocks is my number 5.
All right. So my number 4 is, I guess I kind of pushed. We'll go with pushed. Push them together. Whether or not it is moving rocks, whether or not it is the actual Force push that we've seen in like video games and things like that, I just put it as like a telekinetic power, using the Force as telekinesis. So whether it's moving objects, mind bullets, the power to move you, as Jack Black says in his Tenacious D song. But yeah, so the power to harness telekinesis is my number 4.
Okay, that's a good one. Mine are actually a lot more specific, I guess. My number 4 and the next 2 that are on my list are actually, if I'm remembering correctly, neither of them are shown in the movies. But my number 4 is the thought bomb. And we first see that in the Darth Bane, the first part of the Darth Bane trilogy, when he teaches the Sith Lords to use this thought bomb, which is just like it sounds. It's a bomb that you create with your mind, and it's very very fatal, as these Sith characters find out, because it not only destroys their enemies, it destroys them too.
Wow, yeah. All right, so my number 3 is Force, and this might be a bad way of describing it, forced reflexes. Just to give you that, it's a little bit of the precognition. The way that it's described is you can kind of see what's going to happen just almost a second ahead of time. And I can't remember which book that was described as. But yeah, you can see it just a split second before it actually happens, and allows you to have greater reflexes. So a little bit of precognition there.
Okay. So my number 3, again, doesn't show up in the movies, but is very prevalent in the old Tales of the Jedi books and comic books. And so mostly you're going to see this in the books and the comic books. But my number 3 is battle meditation, which is it's an attribute that you use in combat that will boost the overall battle prowess of your allies when in a just basically increasing your battle effectiveness while at the same time eroding your enemy's will to fight.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so my number 2 is the first Force ability that we ever see in our beloved Star Wars universe.
I think yours and mine might be the same.
And I'll just go ahead and name that one the Vader choke.
Yep, the Force choke. That's my number 2 as well.
Yeah. I mean, it was so popular, even the good guys did it, as Luke Skywalker demonstrated in Return of the Jedi, when he chokes out the Gamorrean guards. But it's definitely well used by Vader, and it's not necessarily something that you have to be in close contact with, as he demonstrated in Empire.
Right.
He could see somebody on a view screen and choke them out from wherever they are, I guess.
Yep.
So,
and we first see Vader doing that to his wife.
Yes. Yeah. That is the first time we see him using it. The first time is in, I guess, the when they're on the Star Destroyer with all the heads of the Imperial officers, and Tarkin's there, and he says, "I find your lack of faith disturbing," and he chokes the guy. I mean, he doesn't kill him right then, but it's still big there.
One of the best quotes in the entire Skywalker series.
Yes. I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Okay, so our number 2 was the same. I'm going to go out on a limb and say our number 1 is probably the same as well.
Perhaps.
So do you want me to give my number 1, and then you can tell me if it's yours? So my number 1 was Force Lightning.
Yes, sir.
Yes, that is just, I mean, when is the first time we see that is in Jedi, and it's one of those abilities that you're just like, it floors you. You're like, oh my gosh, that's how powerful these guys are. Holy crap.
Yeah,
he can summon lightning from his hands.
And and because you don't see, the Emperor, he's just looks like this crotchety old dude that's sitting on this throne. He says, tells Luke, you no longer need those, and the handcuffs come off, and Luke looks at it and he's like, I'm not impressed, and then, the battle commences, and then, he just throws down that Force lightning, and he's writhing on, talk about the super taser. That's, and then we also get to see Dooku practice it as well.
That's right. Yeah.
So, now I would like to give a little background on this topic. I picked this topic for this week, and the reason why I picked this topic was we get to see in The Force Awakens a new Force ability that we hadn't ever seen before.
Yeah.
We've seen Mind Trick in a few movies. We know that there is definitely some sort of subjectiveness that the Jedi and Sith can do with the mind. So seeing Kylo try to pry the information out of the person's mind wasn't that earth-shaking. But to me, what really got it was in that opening battle scene, and Poe shoots a blaster at Kylo.
Yeah.
And the blaster just freezes in air.
Yeah.
And as Poe walks by, you hear the sizzle and the crackle of the laser bolt, and it's just in mid-air.
Yeah.
And once all the business is done and Kylo leaves, the bolt then carries on its original path and blows up.
Yeah.
And I thought that was I was like, wow. That was something that we hadn't ever seen before. So that is cool that they're still adding layers to this.
Yeah, the closest we ever got to that was when in Empire, Han shot at Darth Vader and Vader kind of deflected his bolts.
Well, I figured that was probably like we see Wonder Woman doing the same thing with bullets with her gauntlets. So I was like, maybe it's just, something that was built into his suit or something. Yeah. Again, I was 5 when it came out. So
yeah. But that's the closest we ever got to something like that. And that was pretty cool. Yeah.
So all right. Lots of Force powers, but that would be my top 5.
Yep. That was a good top 5. So that is it for our show tonight. I have no idea what we're doing next week. We haven't really talked about it. Next week is not your week off, is it?
No. I have one more week, and then I'll be off for 2.
Okay. I don't know what we're doing next week. But when
we're doing something,
we're going to do something. We'll figure it out. A lot of this is kind of off the cuff. But next Skywalker, next entry into the Skywalker Saga retrospective, we'll be tackling The Last Jedi, and hope you return for that, and I hope you come back next week. I do want to give thanks and a shout out to everybody that came and talked with us in the chat room. Always glad to have you, and as I said earlier, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that like button, and then be sure to come back next week, whatever that topic may end up being. Keep your eyes glued to our Twitter, and we usually tell you folks ahead of time what we're going to be talking about. And hopefully next week we will have a visit from Cam and Bub.
Yes, I think that is definitely the way things are looking. So
yeah, and so we definitely want some answers as to who came up with the mascot's name. We really want to know the truth. Any parting thoughts?
Well, we just hope that everybody enjoyed our discussion of The Force Awakens.
Yes. All right.
And have a great week, and we will see you next time.
And as always, may the Force be with you.
Absolutely.